A newly obtained report from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division says a case is closed and no one is at fault following the investigation of a deadly house fire. A Goose Creek house caught on fire back in May 2025, leaving one person dead. Reports show because of the death, SLED responded in addition to the Goose Creek Rural Fire Department. Caroline Spikes talked with officials and shares the findings of that investigation.
Daniel Skinner, described as an older man with heart problems, died in his home on Catherine Drive in Goose Creek, May 27, 2025. Now, the report says the leading agent in this case classified the cause of the fire as undetermined after considering all of the information there at the scene. This report comes after a Live 5 investigation last summer that looked into the fire department's response and the communication between the Goose Creek Rural Fire Department and the City of Goose Creek Fire Department. The report states a SLED agent examined the inside of the home, noting the stove did not appear to be in use and found dark, thick liquid on and around the stove, with the heating elements covered. Later in the report, he summarized interviews, one being with a neighbor who said they heard Skinner call out for help, but could not reach him. Skinner's brother described him as someone with a lot of electronics in the reports. The Goose Creek Rural Fire Department was called at 12:08 a.m. and arrived 13 minutes later. SLED was called in at 2:24 a.m. We have reached out to the City of Goose Creek for a statement, and they had no additional comment. We also reached out to the city's fire department and the Goose Creek Rural Fire Department for a comment, and they have yet to respond. In the report, SLED said they were unable to eliminate all potential ignition sources in the kitchen, which is where the fire started. In Goose Creek, I'm Caroline Spikes, Live 5 News.